Let's make some peanut butter cookies. This is an old Betty Crocker recipe, believe it or not. Betty Crocker was very popular back in 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. She had some tried and true recipes. I've made a bunch of these from this recipe. But of course we multiplied it by dozens. So we can, I think this is for 30. So you don't really need to get your oven started right now because this has to sit for a couple hours to let all the fat solidify. So what does it say? Half a cup of granulated sugar. White sugar. I'm doing this in a deep bowl. Half a cup of packed brown sugar. I already scooped this stuff out to save the mess. Half a cup of peanut butter. All right. This is soft, obviously. Peanut butter makes a mess too, don't it? I think the more I touch it, the worse off it's going to be. Yeah, that didn't help. And half a cup of shortening. This is Crisco vegetable shortening. That makes a mess. Trying to get that all measured out. And then 1/4 cup of softened butter. It's been sitting out for about an hour or so. It's cold out today, so it may not be that soft. And it says 1 egg. So it says basically to mix all the wet stuff. Sugar is considered a liquid because once it gets wet, it liquefies. All right, let's get that out of the way. And then we're going to cream this. So we're going to use your handy little KitchenAid that you got sitting here. I'm going to put that on 2 to get it started. And as we learned already, creaming is just making sure everything is put together. It's blended very well and smooth. The reason for not using all butter, because it'll get a little too crispy. Butter has a tendency to make things pretty darn crispy. So, I mean, that's what I've found. So now I'm gonna jack that sucker up to 4. I'm in a deep bowl. So again, basically this recipe is sugar and fat so far. All right. All right, we're gonna pause that. This thing's flat on the bottom, so it sits nice. Kinda. Oh, I think that little bottom turns too, but I'm not sure. I'm going to get our spatula, scrape the sides, scrape the bottom. You got to do that often. All right, I'm going to mix that a little bit longer. Ooh, don't be afraid to turn your bowl. All right, see how it's starting to lighten up? That's nice and fluffy. All right. Okay, now it says 1 1/4 cups of flour. So we're going to use our sifter here. Okay. Now when you're measuring flour, If you're going to do it by the measuring spoon, just kind of, don't pack it in there. Kind of put it in there loose, right? And then use a knife. Where's that at? And then scrape it off. All right, that'll give you a nice even cup every time. All right, let me move this out of the way. So there's 1 cup. And then I got 1/4 cup. This has got the measurements inside, so I can do it this way. I'm not going to make a mess. 1 1/4 cups of flour. Sorry. Forgot to open up my baking powder. Okay, then it says 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda. This is a half. Oh, this is 1 teaspoon, so go 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda. Put that right on top. 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. Right on top. And 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Gotta have salt for flavor. And it's peanut butter too, so it loves salt. All right, then we're gonna sift that through. Beautiful. Let's get this guy going again. This is gonna puff out pretty good, so start this on low. You can do it with your spatula if you want to start. And it says to mix all the extra ingredients that are on the list and mix well. So I'm gonna just keep it on low for right now. I'm on 1, just to get everything going. And then we're going to use our spatula here and scrape the bottom. Get those little pockets of flour out. Beautiful. Get that sucker in there. This is a very, very dry batter. Very thick and pasty. Like I said, everything was out earlier. Everything's on room temperature right now. If you use a cold egg, it would make the batter harder, faster. Cold butter wouldn't work because you wouldn't be able to break it up. Now we're going to sling this a little bit. We're going to keep it down in there and turn it up and get everything off the whip. See how I did that? It cleaned it off nicely. Then we'll put it down in there and, oops, some paper from the butter. You don't want to eat that. All right, this is nicely mixed, huh? Turn your bowl. Get everything nicely incorporated. All right. Get in there. We're going to sling it clean again. Nice and clean. Off. Okay, that's everything there. You can see how hard this is, right? Look at that. So it says let it sit for 2 hours. What you're trying to do is let it solidify. You're going to let the flour get hydrated. If you were in a hurry, you could do it now. It's not going to hurt anything, really. So we're going to let this sit for 2 hours, covered. In the refrigerator, does it say? refrigerate about 2 hours or until firm. So I'll be back in about 2 hours. I'm going to cover this and we'll see you then. We are back. So here's what I did. Let me take this top off there. I like these silicone lids, they'll fit everything. I poked a bowl down inside of this. What it did is it made it thinner all the way around and it chilled faster, that's all. So that way there, if you're in a hurry, that'll make it chilled out in about an hour or so, or 20 minutes even. All right, we're going to use the 1 tablespoon scoop here. I'm going to use this non-stick thing, of course. All right, this is going to be fairly dry batter. Okay, so we're going to go 1 tablespoon. And it should make about, I don't know, 30 cookies or so. I'm not going to make 30 because I'll end up eating them all. So we're going to make about 15, 16. Go 4 across, 4 over. It's a little crumbly. We'll see how they turn out though. Give them a good pack. You could do each one and roll it, but I think it's a little easier if you make the balls and then roll them all at the same time. So these should spread out to 2.5 to 3 inches a piece. We'll see how they turn out. Depends on how cool they are too when you put them in the oven. If you're making hundreds of these and they're sitting around the house or the kitchen or wherever you're at, and they come back to room temperature, they'll spread a little further. How many we got? But I'm thinking they're going to be fine. All right, 16. All right. You don't want to play with them a whole lot. You want to give them some shape though. So just kind of lightly roll them in your hands like this. All right. Did I mention preheat your oven? Preheat your oven at 375. Give them a little work to get them to solidify a little better. There you go, huh? Look at all that stuff. Let me roll that up a little bit and get it to stick to everything. There we go. So these guys, yeah, if you get as many as you want rolled out, balled out, and then roll them up. Don't want to press them a whole lot when you're rolling them because they'll break apart. I think I might have said that already. I think I'll take this time right now to say, hey, why don't you give my video a like? Those are kind of sparse. Try to get up as much of that stuff as you can because it's just going to burn up anyway. Might as well add it to the cookie. It says to place them about 3 inches apart. That'll give each cookie 3/4 of an inch to grow on each side, right? It gives you 1.5 inches. And then the next one next to it, 3/4 of an inch and 1.5 inches. We'll see what we end up with. So we'll go 4 across and 4 down. How's that sound? That'll give us our 16. Give us plenty of room. All right, now take your hand and just give it a little press. I'm not looking for a major press because they're going to spread. And these are still fairly cold, so they may not spread a whole lot. But they're going to take shape. That'll be fine. If they're too close together, they'll just stick, they'll touch each other. It's not going to hurt anything. All right, so next what we're going to do, I'm going to grab some sugar and a fork. Fork works best for this. Oh, there's people out there that use chopsticks and they use skewers and break them up and make nice little X's. That's fine. What we're looking to do is make a crosshatch. So we're going to go across. Can we see me? Can we see me? There we go. There we go. We're going to go across once this way and once that way. And we're just going to push just enough to be the dent to be just about as deep as your fork. You can go as deep as you want. So it says to dip it in sugar, but there's no fat on the back of that at the moment, so nothing's going to stick to it. Let's give it one press. Now we'll just dip it in the sugar. Give it another press. These little breaking pieces on the edges, that's fine. So this is, you can see where I'm at. It's about as thick as the fork, maybe a little thicker. Okay, we're just going to carry on doing these guys. So this gives it that classic cross hatchings that peanut butter cookies are known to. You see that on a cookie, you're like, oh, that's a peanut butter cookie, you just know it. Okay, you can give it a little tap when you get on there. Get your second one down, give it a tap. That just drops a little bit of sugar that may be on the top of your fork down into it. The sugar gives it a nice, actually the sugar does two things. Sugar prevents it from sticking, and it gives it a little sweet, little crunch. This says to cook these for 8 to 9 minutes. Any much longer, they're gonna dry out and be a little crispy anyway, but any much longer than 8 to 9 minutes, they're gonna get hard as a rock on you. You don't want that. I mean, a peanut butter cookie should be a little crispy, but you don't want them to be just rock hard. These two are going to touch, I know it. So when we put these in, you're going to turn them at about 5 minutes. If you're not using a convection oven, I'm going to put a little extra sugar on that one there. If you're not using a convection oven, so you're going to turn them around in your oven. Don't leave the oven door open too long because you don't want to let a whole lot of air out, because then it takes a little longer to cook. So your 9 minutes will turn into 11 minutes or whatever. So turn them around. If your oven doesn't heat right or evenly, most ovens don't. That'll just give it a little temperature from different sides. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pop these in, and then let's get the rest of this wrapped up. Okay. All right, those are in the middle. Let's get wax paper. Parchment paper, whatever. And we're going to take this cookie dough and freeze the rest of this. And get it right in the middle. A couple ways of doing this. First one is not my favorite, but I've done it before. So you want to give this a little bit of shape so when you can cut these when they're frozen, right? Or when they're cold, you want to thaw them out and use a spoon afterwards or a scoop to get them just to your general shape that you want. So you can get that tucked underneath there like this, and then fold your sides over. That'll give you a square edges, right? But if you get the shape you want, roll it up like the old candy sweets, right? And then give this end a twist, nice and tight. It gives you a good square edge, right? When we cut these guys next time, they're gonna be nice size. They're gonna end up with a nice 3-4 inch cookie, would it be good? And then twist this one. So then when you twist them the opposite directions, it's nice and tight, square on the ends. Then when they're refrigerated, it's frozen whatever, We'll just cut off the size we want, just plop them on there. Use a fork on there. I'm going to put that in the freezer. We'll have plenty for next time. Alright, so I got about 7.5 minutes left. I'm going to clean this up and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, it's been about 9 minutes. 10 minutes actually. Let's give these guys a look-see, huh? Alright. Nice golden color. Still a little soft. I wouldn't go popping one of these in your mouth right now. That sugar's at 375 degrees. You can see the tips on here are all nice and browned off, a little crispy from your cross-hatching. A little poked a little side there. These definitely need to cool for 10 to 15 minutes. The more they cool, the crispier they're going to get. Okay, see if I can't turn one over. Nice golden color on the bottom. Looks good, huh? Alright, so let me move this to one edge here. And we're going to put this on our screen to let them cool off. They should only take 8 or 10 minutes to cool off enough. You just want that sugar in there to not be molten hot anymore. Once they cool, we'll break one and see how it acts. Should be firm. Not hard as a rock, but definitely a crunch to them. You can pull them out a little earlier if you want them chewy. Nothing wrong with a chewy peanut butter cookie, let me tell you. Alright, they look good, huh? How'd they come out? These are right at 3 inches. 2.5, 2 3/4. If they would have been warmer, they might have spread out to 3. Yeah, that one's oblong. I got a 3 out of that one because it's odd shape. So that's what we're going to end up with. That's not a bad sized cookie, huh? Compared to the size of your hand. So we're going to give this about 5 minutes to cool, 8 minutes to cool. We're going to come back and look at them. See how they firmed up nicely? See, now they're starting to stiffen up a little bit, which is good. Alright, I'll be back in a few minutes and see how they act. Okay, it has been about 15 minutes. These guys have cooled a little bit. Got a little fingerprint in that one here. See, my little edges are a little dark. They got a good crisp to them. They're breaking off nicely. Cookies are cooled. Let's see what we got. I already knew that because I ate one. Just a little soft in the center. They may cool off a little longer. Maybe get a little more crispier. I don't know. I like that though. Good and crunchy. A little firm in the center. A little firm there. Good flavor. I gave it a little thump. So there we go. Peanut butter cookies. I bet these would probably be good if you put chocolate chips in with them. You can put anything you want in there that mixes with it. I'm good with peanut butter. Alright, I hope you like these.